After I beat you at Full Gear, do me a favor, quit again and leave for another 7 years. Now that's how you sell a pay-per-view match. I'm John Renton with my review of AEW Rampage, a show that certainly had a hot start. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, please. They were live in St. Louis, and it was nice to have a live Rampage because the crowd was more energetic. There's nothing wrong with doing, like, multi-show tapings, especially to cut costs and give people a bit of a rest. But I honestly think they need to do more live Rampages because it just adds a little more spice to it. So anyway, Excalibur, Taz, and Ricky Starks on commentary. Don't have Old Man Yells at Cloud Jericho on commentary anymore. There's no reason. There's no reason to have him yell at Cloud. Sephiroth already brutalizes Cloud enough as it is. Tifa, she's just, all over the goddamn place with Cloud, and Cloud is a freaking insane maniac. But enough about Final Fantasy VII and the fanfic and all that, and Advent Children, which was a goddamn mess and a half. Bryan Danielson versus Anthony Bowens. Added last minute, you know what? Pretty damn good. Pretty good. When Caster was suspended because he made some questionable decisions as far as his rap, and he deserved to be suspended for it because really they were badly chosen words, he decided to come back and be his usual self, but not, stir the pot. And then he decided to really go for broke and do some good lines here. That does not excuse what he said before, and his apology was kind of bullshit, but he did get off a few lines at Bryan Danielson. You're only known for your wife's reality show. I'm going to put you in poverty, dog, because I'll end your career faster than your father-in-law. And I just want to say right now that I hope Johnny Ace ends up as a drooling vegetable by the holidays, because it's what he fucking deserves for being a fucking rotten piece of shit. He's a goddamn idiot. You know what? I don't mind that shot at WWE, just like I don't mind WWE taking shots at AEW when it's, entertaining cheap shots like that. And also Johnny Ace is a goddamn piece of shit and only married his way into, being part of a prominent family and basically kisses Vince McMahon's ass so goddamn much. That's the only reason why he has it, because he was a mediocre worker. He was barely that much of a singles star, even though he was in All Japan, and apparently Mrs. Baba really loved him. But otherwise, he's a horrible creative mind. But he's a great Vince McMahon kiss ass. So enough of that. Let's get back to Rampage. Again, this actually was not that bad of a match. Bryan Danielson, Anthony impressed me when he did some singles matches on Elevation and Dark. He actually can work. He can be a great spokesperson for the LGBTQ community. But besides that, I mean, it's just, hopefully we can just get to the point where we just have everybody inclusive. And, AEW is all inclusive. Okay, pal. Believe that all you want. But Bowens is very good in the ring. He's a very good athlete. He does have some physical charisma and got a chance to show off. Bryan is great. Bowens did do some good stuff. The numbers game, obviously, there was a Caster hitting a clothesline outside that looked a little dodgy, but it was what it was. It was cool that Aubrey tweeted out that she was in the crowd for his retirement. His retirement from WWE. Let's see, I believe it's February 8th or 9th, 2016, around that date. I was there for that show. And that's really, really goddamn cool that just a number of years later, she is, pretty much besides Red Shoes, I would say the best referee on a main stage, because there's so many cool referees in the indies, and I don't want to discredit anybody, but it is cool how Aubrey got to referee a Bryan Danielson match. Even though Bowens did try to get more shots in, he eventually fell to after a missile dropkick to the label lock, and Bryan got the victory. Good stuff. And then Shivani was backstage after Dynamite with Andrade El Olio, FTR, MJF, and basically he gets FTR for a couple weeks and has to pay him mucho dinero, and G.I. Jose gives him a couple envelopes. They just happens to have right there. Nobody's going to knock him over in Missouri. I mean, Missouri's kind of cash-strapped. I'm amazed nobody knocked him over. Look at me taking a shot at Missouri and its crime rate for no fucking reason. So anyway, it was fine. Andrade, they're trying to do something with Andrade. They're trying to make him interesting, and he's just a great wrestler, and that's it. That's it. So, here's Punk. He calls out Eddie Kingston, who eventually comes out, but after his music's done playing, Eddie, well, he basically said he wasn't there recently because he needed to make sure he didn't have COVID, got tested, and all that, and needed to make sure he was fine and that he would be okay. And he didn't get anybody sick, and that's fair. That's absolutely fair. This is great. I can't do this justice. This was the high point of the fucking show. Bryan versus Bowens was good. This was fucking great. This is like two guys talking normally. They interrupted each other. They got some good barbs in. You can tell there is some, there's animosity, but entertaining. They kept it entertaining, but then they got real. Then they got really to the bone. They got really bad to the bone. And no, I can't even say a song. They got really fucking, just cutting to the goddamn bone there. Eddie mentions Joe, Homicide, Amazing Red, who I really hope can get, some more opportunities to just show what he still has. I got to see him at a couple of indie shows in 2019. Then the pandemic happened. I really like Amazing Red. And I know he's been doing some stuff since, but it's just really cool that he's had a second, part of his career, because he's had injuries and he's retired and stuff. And he calls Punk a low-life, narcissistic son of a bitch. And that Punk comes back with everybody judged him because Punk saw the potential in him, and that he fell short. Just, you're a bum, all this. They're just throwing these lines back and forth. Eddie's talking about how he had to sell his house, and everything because of the pandemic, all the stuff he had to do. He was going to, before the AEW contract kicked in, he's apparently going to move to Alaska, or at least move somewhere. Somebody had said he was going to move to Alaska and become a fisherman, or he's going to do something just to make money, because wrestling was done. Then AEW gave him the opportunity, and he got the opportunity and he ran with it, is really what I should say. He says, how about a match at Full Gear? Why don't you fight me, and all that. I was, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do this. You're gonna fight me. You're gonna do all this. I'm gonna ask all them. I'll see you. It's like, I'll see you then, because they cheer. Do me a favor, quit again, leave for another 7 years. Oh my God. That was a headbutt, a brawl. Here come the wrestlers, the referees doing a pull apart. This is how you do it. This sold me. This is going to be a fucking great match, I hope. The promos, I think, are going to be better than the match, but I think if they treat it like a fight, if they do some stuff, if they make this a street fight, I'd make it a street fight. Because you need to hide the fact Eddie really can't go anymore, except in certain situations, because his body's beat up and he has a different style anyway. And Punk, I really don't think should be always wrestling regular matches. You gotta spice this thing up. I don't care if it's only a few days until the pay-per-view. We're literally as of this recording, we're just over a week away. And if you haven't bought it yet, I'm going to be buying it soon. I haven't had a chance yet because I've been too busy, doing stuff like this and also working. But I'm going to be buying it, and I'm looking forward to, plunking down the $50 to watch this, because hopefully on paper, this card looks to be pretty good, and this adds quite a bit to it. So even at this stage of their lives and their careers, I think they're going to make it work. But I'd make it a street fight. So, Cage and Jurassic Express, the only Cage that matters, by the way, in the company, because Brian, I don't really think is there anymore. They are going to have a 6-man Falls Count Anywhere match at Full Gear. You know what? It makes sense here, given the fact that they did the stage dives and all that stuff on Dynamite. I don't mind them doing this here. As long as the Bucks and Cole don't do a bunch of bullshit comedy like they did in the main event, and they always fucking do, because they just can't help themselves. They're not funny. Speaking of not funny, this is where the show started to go down. Red Velvet, who I'm a fan of and I think has potential, took on the Bunny. TBS first round match, and my goodness, this was not good. This was not good at all. It wasn't like it was botchy, it just wasn't good. The Bunny is not good in the ring. Red Velvet needs more time. She also needs to stop laying on her head, and thankfully she didn't hear. Jumpstart, Jade was in the crowd watching because she gets to pick the winner. In all honesty, she probably should be in the front row of a wrestling show right now, because she's not very good in the ring. She should stand there and look like an Amazon, look like look like, a sculpture, and I mean that with respect, but she's not good in the ring. And it's going to take a long time for her to get really good. So anyway, stomp on the steps, and Red Velvet comes back within a couple minutes and hits the final slice, 1, 2, 3. This went through a break, by the way. I didn't care. I want the women to get opportunities, but I wrote down they need more experienced women in this company. Like now. They have some. They have some that have potential to get better, and then they got some that just are never going to get better. And they need more women. They're experienced, that they can toss them around on Dark Elevation, Dark, Rampage, and also Dynamite, and maybe feature more than one women's match on a pay-per-view. Do one on the buy-in. Do something. They got to juice the women's division up, and I don't mean like that. So, split screen with Cole and Silver, and then next week on Dynamite, Pac versus Dax. Seidel and Lee Moriarty versus Leo Rush and Dante Martin. Bryan versus Rocky Romero. Rocky Romero out of nowhere. I'm all for it. He's been on New Japan Strong and stuff like that, but I'm just like, oh, cool. He's going to be there. And Britt, Jamie, Rebel versus Rosa, Conte, and Anna. I will be perfectly 100% fine during that match. How dare you accuse me otherwise? But seriously, Thunder Rosa will make that work. And it makes sense with Britt and Ty Conte facing off at Full Gear. Cole with the Bucks versus Silver. Cole was selling the whole Concerto thing. They should have really found a way to do a bait and switch and have Silver face one of the Bucks. I know that we all know that wrestling's a work and everything, and that people don't actually get hurt usually, though injuries do happen. But Cole should have sold the Concerto until at least next Wednesday, but he didn't. Now he sold it by being off the card, but it is what it is. He did sell the head and stuff like that and everything, kind of like how Edge was when he was, selling a concussion, and that I believe it was a feud with Regal or Eddie, or maybe Angle. He sold concussions a lot. The kiss spot's stupid. Entertains people, fine. I don't care for it. The Dark Order appears, and then we get a low blow because Silver's a babyface, but it actually makes sense because Cole tried to low blow him. Running Liger Bomb, nope, didn't get the victory. Or a spinning Liger Bomb. And then Cole eventually hits a couple super kicks, and then lower the boom, and got the victory. There you go. That's really it. Rampage sometimes has some really good stuff, and then it'll just kind of go off a cliff. I get that it's only an hour, and they do it late. The fact they did it live, that's pretty smart. But in all seriousness, I really think that if they don't do more live editions of Rampage, especially once, Dynamite goes to TBS, I think it's kind of a missed opportunity. Because they're going to get money from both. Hopefully they get, maybe they get a little bit of a boost in money. Because the ratings aren't awful for Dynamite. Not great for Rampage, but we'll see. Anyway, are you excited for Full Gear? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Rethlin. I'll see you soon.